Oh, so it just give you two different angles, and then you can go boop, boop, or whatever you do.
Well, see, I can go outside, right? I start the thing up, and then, you know, it's upside down right now, but in the post I can turn it over.
Oh, yeah. Just from the hanging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pete VanDingstee.
That's correct.
Is that a Dutch name?
It is, yeah. Came from Holland 1964 at age 7.
Is that right?
Yep.
You're a European?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep, I came over on the boat with my family, and we, came through New York, Ellis Island, and...
No, you came through Ellis Island?
Yeah, 1964.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember coming past Statue of Liberty and, seeing that, and then, coming into the city. It was cool. It was big,
Why did your parents come here?
My father worked in Europe for Philips Electronics, and thought that coming to the United States, as many immigrant families did, to have an opportunity for his 3 sons to have a better opportunity in life. And he came to work here,
But things were pretty good in Holland, though, right? I mean, they always
things were, yep.
Right? It's a progressive country.
Yep, but at that time period, Philips was talking about opening Norelco shaving division in the United States, and my father had an opportunity to come here to do that.
We got to wear our seatbelts.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, when we're moving, we should definitely be doing that.
I know.
Sometimes on the Nantucket field,
it's good for the kids to see us driving around.
Yep, and sometimes on the island, we feel a little bit comfortable and forget that there's other people who might not be paying as much attention.
Well, that's it. You got it.
Yep.
So at 7 years old, you came to the country, and then where did you live? Where did you grow up?
Well, we lived in New Jersey first. My father ended up going to work for General Electric. Going back on that story, the Norelco, Philips was going to open Norelco in the United States, and Philips wasn't in the United States very much. Well, my father had so much experience overseas in the different areas that we lived that he went to work for General Electric as a foreign relations manager for GE, because he had all the contacts in Europe, and GE at that time period wasn't in Europe.
Okay.
So it worked out. So we moved to the United States, and he spent most of his time in Europe. So it wasn't really that great for family life, but he gave us the opportunity to be here and do our education. So I grew up mostly in Skaneateles, New York, outside of Syracuse, which we have here on the. Yep, we have a few people from that area out here on the island.
Yes.
So Skaneateles was a beautiful place to grow up. In a small community, like Nantucket, very family oriented.
Right.
It was a lot of people that worked in the city of Syracuse.
Is that a Finger Lake?
It is one of the Finger Lakes, yep.
Yeah.
And Skaneateles is a term for crystal clear water. It's an Indian name. So we, like Nantucket, we were from an Indian community way back when.
And is that where your passion for fishing all came about? Is that part of it?
Yes, that's part of it. I was fortunate for the years that I did have my father around before my parents were separated, that he took me fishing.
Oh, okay.
And but growing up on the lake was really nice. I grew up across the street from the lake for a few years, and they stocked that lake with trout, and we had perch, and we had smallmouth bass and all kinds of different fish in that lake. And Skaneateles Lake is one of the cleanest lakes in the world. It's 16 miles long, 2 miles wide, and 385 feet deep. So it was spectacular, because you'd take a quarter or a dime and throw it into the water, and 20 feet down you could see which one was at the bottom, and it's still like that today out there.
That is. And that's where your passion for fishing and fish. Okay, so for people who don't know you do a couple of things. You do actually a bunch of things.
Yes, that's
you
true.
own the pharmacy.
I own the lunch counter at Nantucket Pharmacy. Yeah,
the lunch counter.
And
you're the last lunch counter.
The last lunch counter on Nantucket.
There used to be 2, but now there's only 1.
Congdon's was there, and I also owned Congdon's for the last summer.
Oh, that's right.
The lunch counter there before they sold it, back 8-9 years ago. I can't remember exactly how long it was now.
Right.
But the soda fountain, my wife Barbara and I have had for 18 years.
Wow, it's that long.
Yep.
Before that, you had the Dory.
The Dory restaurant in 88.
That's when I met you, right?
Yes, yep, in 88 and 89.
That's when I met you.
Yep.
God, I've known you that long, Pete.
And I came to Nantucket after vacation in 1985. And I came out here to visit a good friend of mine, Chris Wraith, and his family.
Do you miss that? I mean, you don't live here all the time either now.
No, well, my wife and I had bought a house in Duxbury in 2006.
How old were your kids then?
Miranda was going into 5th grade and Meredith was going into 2nd grade. So
now, was that because of the school system, or was it what?
Well, there was,
the schools weren't as popular.
A little bit about the school system, and nothing against the school system, but neither of us were from Nantucket originally, and we knew that there were more opportunities for us on the mainland.
Yeah.
Not wanting to give up Nantucket because we love Nantucket so much, and I love doing things for the community of Nantucket.
Yeah, of course.
But it's
we're here all the time.
It's it was just a feeling that we had that when we started looking at things and possibility of whether it would be going through the high school or going to a boarding school, and we didn't want to have separation from our children if that would be the case.
I'm about to do some new programming on the Cape, and I've never really even thought about the possibility of living out off of Nantucket, except for my vacation home in Maine.
Right.
How has that been? What would you say to someone who might be thinking, okay, maybe it is time for me to move to another town?
Well, the opportunities for anybody, and that's the great thing about although we don't consider ourselves a lot of times part of America here in Nantucket, because we're out here on the rock.
Yeah.
But, the beautiful thing about America is that we have the opportunity to make decisions, make moves, create ourselves the way we want to, be, and have that type of freedom. And so going to the mainland for us, it allowed me to have the capabilities of my commute instead of going to Boston and going to work. I still wanted to have that small touch with Nantucket and and do the soda fountain, loving what I do, and still having the opportunity for my children to be where they could easily access different cultural things.
For work, nothing beats Nantucket. Is that what you think, or could you have done the same thing?
I've lived in a lot of different places my whole life, and I've always created myself to doing, many different things, whether it was house painting, caretaking, marine sales.
You've done it all.
I've had my own photography business at one point, but just waiting and finding the passion. Really, I can tell you that part of Nantucket for me is I love this, the aspect of the soda fountain, small town feel, and keeping part of Nantucket history going. So that's why I'm there 18 years. Yes, it's also about making some money. That's why we all are able to survive. But I do that between 3 different businesses, so it's not just what I do there. But I love seeing the kids' faces that were in strollers 14, 15 years ago having a cake cone with no ice cream in it, and then now asking, can I be behind the counter and working? And and so I have a nice mix of Nantucket kids and my own daughter are here working part-time for me this summer, and that's when I took over the soda fountain back 18 years ago. Miranda was 1 year old, and I had a dream that she was pulling on my t-shirt saying, hey, am I old enough to work here now? And you picked me up today, and Miranda is covering the lunch counter. So it's a great thing to have that dream come to fruition.
Now, getting back to your fish and your passion for fish.
Yep.
I mean, you're an avid fisherman.
Yes.
Right?
I love to fish, anywhere, any kind of fish. And
kayak fishing too? Do you still have those?
Yep, I have a couple different kayaks. I've done competitive kayak fishing. But fishing, like other things that people like to do in Nantucket or anywhere else, it's about having my time outdoors and being with Mother Nature. So it's, anytime I can get there. Catching a fish is the bonus. Going fishing is the passion.
Right.
And sometimes creating my own flies, or figuring out what the bait is, and playing with Mother Nature that way, and seeing if you can tease that fish, like when I took you and Harry fishing and back down, in Mattocket that time, and said, we're going to go here and climb it through the reeds and weeds and get into that special spot, and known the time or trying to figure out where the fish are. That's all part of that science that makes you keep going back out and trying it.
And you've blended that passion for fishing into another business. Into my artwork. Go ahead and tell me about your artwork.
So the artwork that I do is called Giyataku, which means fish rubbing. It's a Japanese form of recording the catch of fish before the camera was invented. So what they would do was they would take an ink, a sumi ink, which was made from charcoal, which they had with them for doing pen drawings, which they would use a bamboo, piece of bamboo to do their penmanship for artwork. They would take that ink, put it on the fish. So the guy said, "Oh, I got an 18-foot giant squid," which my master Mineo has done and recorded.
You have a master?
Yep, I've studied with a Japanese master.
Ooh.
I didn't go to Japan, but I had the opportunity to study with him in the Adirondack Mountains when he came here to go salmon fishing. Okay. Also part of my passion, going fishing and printing fish. So Mineo has done over 1,500 species of fish and is world renowned. And so I'm trying to catch up to him one fish at a time. So I record fish locally, whether somebody brings me their first fish, or whether it's something that I've caught myself, and then with that try to create images of underwater scenes, the way fish look in their natural
so you're
state.
Kind of taking it into another level. You're bringing more.
So sometimes instead of just having one fish, or so striped bass, tuna, I've done. So I've had somebody send me a largemouth bass from Knoxville, Tennessee, that was 8 pounds, and recorded his catch. So it just keeps evolving.
They just send you the fish on ice?
Dry ice. Yep.
On dry ice.
On dry ice. So sometimes it's mostly Nantucket fish. This is where I spend my time, and my gallery down on Old South Wharf, is where I display my work. And I'm fortunate I have a few stores on the mainland that handle my stuff.
Oh, you're doing good, Pete.
Yeah, and and still just having fun with it. But I mean, like myself, I have more than one thing going on.
The pharmacy.
Yeah, the pharmacy. The pharmacy. We're 364 days a year. 8 to 6, and the extended summer hours, and then that shop down there is 10 hours a day.
Who owns that place anyway? That building?
Alan Bell owns.
Oh, he does.
Yep, Alan Bell owns that building. Great guy.
He is.
When when I first went to see the soda fountain and look at it, he had talked to a bunch of different people, and with my background from the Dory restaurant, which was also very local, and had been there for 18 years. Alan chose me, and here I am 18 years later, and I'm doing my thing.
I hope it's another 18.
Well, you never know, Gino. Thanks for having me over.
Fun.
It was a fun ride around.
It was just a spontaneous.
I just want to say, Gino just pulled me out of the soda fountain, said, "Want to go for a ride?" Here we are, and I just want to say, great show, and he just showed me, his whole new updated website, and everybody should just check it out.
Thank you.
Tell your friends. You do a great
Pete.
job, and we've known each other a long time, and you do a really great job for all the kids and family on Nantucket.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks.
Pete.